Boom. That caught me off guard.
Boom! Boom! Boom!
Boom.
Boom! Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. Whoa. This is episode 661 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Yinzers. Good morning on the board. Good morning to Jen. Good morning to Ron. Good morning to John.
Oh, packed house early today.
These guys are the reason I love this show. I mean, Mike and Ryan and Brian and Derpy are awesome, but the board brings it every day.
That they
and
do.
it is just awesome.
They put up with Ryan's nonsense.
Boom!
Boom!
Oh my god.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Loser Tuesday, as Ron calls it.
Yeah.
Good morning to Phil, the Steel. Wide audience this morning.
Cheers.
We got Wisconsin in the house. We got Texas in the house. We got Las Vegas
Cheese
in
and
the
beef,
house.
baby. Cheese, beef, and poker.
We got
baby.
North Florida in the house. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 661 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. I'd like to say to everybody this morning, welcome back. Hi, Finch, Mike, how you guys doing today?
I'm doing great.
Feeling nice. Got my coffee. I'm ready.
All right, good.
I'm dehydrated and ready to go.
Yeah.
Derpy's supposed to be here today, but he's not going to be able to make it. He has some personal issues going on. He'll be back as soon as he can. He'll certainly be back next week for picks, things like this. Today, I mean, he could show up. He could show up at any given minute. He did get his.
Let's hope he does.
He's an enigma.
Yeah.
you
I need
know?
more Derpy in my life.
He comes and
he is
goes
an-
as he
he is an
pleases.
enigma.
I love it. I love it.
You know what I love? The fact that John is chilling with his two dogs and Terry Bongshaw at roughly 9:30 in the morning in Las Vegas. I think it will be somewhere right around 9:30, 8:30. I don't know the time differences, but there he is. He got Terry Bongshaw.
He's
Getting
like
ready for the big rival
Hey,
game.
John, I'm going to be in Vegas in March, buddy. I'm going to Vegas in March, man.
Ooh.
Maybe we'll get
We were-
together and you can
Ooh.
introduce me to Terry Bongshaw.
We were supposed to go out for the game in October against the Raiders.
I know,
but,
right?
Mark Malone says midget.
I'm going to the
Midget's
Sphere.
getting
I'm
out of
honestly
hand
pretty
again.
pumped about it. So
Yeah, I
That
was gonna say
Spears
like
was pretty
Steeler.
badass.
I can't wait. I'm going to see The Dead, and I cannot wait.
Oh.
I am fucking amped
Nice.
about it. It's going to be awesome.
Like Steeler Freak. reminds
Mike,
me
how
of,
are you
the
today, man?
dude. I'm doing great. Steeler Freak reminds me of the dude from The Big Lebowski. Yeah, just vibing, just
The
you
dude
know,
abides.
8:31
the dude abides.
8:31
just
out in
living large.
Las Vegas.
Got Terry Bongshaw.
Mm-hmm. That rug really tied the room together.
It
dude.
really did.
It really did.
It did.
They pissed all over his fucking rug. I'm still not over it. It's been 25 years. Nice
There are
marmot.
rules. There are rules. This isn't Vietnam.
Can we just turn this into a Big Lebowski podcast? I would be all down for that, dude. It's like my favorite movie.
That just capped.
All right, Jens, guys could go ahead and
and I can see Ryan
log off
twitching
and
right now.
have your little
Ryan's like, "Who the fuck is a Big
conversation,
Lebowski?"
play your little game.
Should have been here. We
let's
talked
talk
for
about
10
some
minutes about
important-
shit before you came on.
And that's why I don't come here for 10 extra. That's why I wait for 10 minutes to get here. Let's see what else. John says White Russian. Guys, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, the Tuesday before maybe the biggest game of the year. I don't know. On one hand, if we lose, we'll probably get the 5 seed. If we win, we'll probably get the 3 seed. The difference in this game is more pride than anything to me, because the difference is a home or away game in the first round of the playoffs. It'll be either maybe something like Baltimore at home or Baltimore on the road. It could be Denver at home, LA at home. But it breaks down like this. It's gonna be either a third or a fifth seed in the playoffs for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Probably all comes down to what happens this weekend with this division battle on the line. Of course, the AFC North battle is what's important at the time. We're trying to win this division, but guys, at the end of the day, it basically comes down to yes, you want to win the division. Yes, you want to be supreme of the teams in your division. But it ultimately comes down to the 3, the 5 seed, the home, the away game in the first round. So with that being said, the Baltimore. Good morning, Kenneth. With that being said, guys, you don't want to lose. You don't want to continue to lose because you don't want to lose the confidence that you had after winning all those games in a row. I think that's what's important, guys. Yes, if you win the AFC North, that's important. You get bragging rights and you get that home game. But at the end of the day, we're not going to miss the playoffs. At the end of the day, we're not going to get the 1 seed. I think it basically is where it is as far as playoffs. We're looking at it either a 3 or a 5. Or if we totally fall off, we could fall to a 6 or a 7 if those other teams continue to win, and we would continue to lose through the last 3 weeks of the season, 3 games. I'm sorry. So that's basically where we stand right now, guys. Mike, Finch,
Yeah.
how you gentlemen doing this morning?
Doing better than the Steelers injury report. I can tell you that right now.
Yes, we're going to get into that in just a minute. Please tell me a little bit about your morning, Mike. I want to hear about you. This is Christmas time. I take a lot of shots throughout the year. Maybe don't pay attention to a lot of things that you say, which is terrible to say. But tell me a little bit about yourself, Mike, going into the Christmas holiday. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Work is wrapping up for the Christmas season, so that is awesome. It's going to slow back down to a normal pace. All the seasonal hires will be gone, but some of them are really, really cool. So that's going to suck to see them go. But, work is good. Life is good. The kid's good. I got nothing to complain about other than the Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers are the only thing in my life that suck right now.
Hey, Finch, go sit in the corner. Mike, do you have all your Christmas shopping done?
No, I do not. No, I do not.
No.
I still gotta buy a couple more things for the little one. Then I'll do it. I'll be fine. All
right. Finch, you ready for Christmas?
You're allowed to talk now, Finch.
I'm ready for it
Mike,
to be over. I'm ready to be done with it. But it's fun being a dad at Christmas, and I'm learning. It gets a little better every year. But my daughter's 9. It's getting to that age now where it's going to start, I think, declining a little bit. She still believes, but it's not going to last. So, but as of right now, Christmas is still fun.
I got to tell you this. It does get a little bit better every year to the point to where you don't have to even worry about it anymore. At first, it's too much. It's all about them. It's all about Christmas. It's all about these gifts.
Yeah.
It's all about the decorations. But whenever that little one turns 18, you're pretty much at wit's end, and you've done it so many times, and you're just ready for it to be done. So I think that you're right on track, Finch. So I'm glad to hear everybody's got their Christmas season started. Guys, let's get into this day. Mike, you did hit it right on the head. The injury issues are what's the problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to I see a lot of good comments so far, guys. We're going to get in them in just a second. I want to talk about what was said yesterday at the Mike Tomlin press conference about the injuries. This is what Mike had said. Coach Tomlin had said, Pickens, Ogunjobi, Elliott, Jackson, Fields, and TJ have not been rolled out. They are all questionable, and they'll all start with limited practice to see how their participation goes throughout the week, guys. It's basically all hands on deck right now. It's This is a big game. I did tend to down talk it a little bit, but at the end of the day, this game is huge. We're going to go to Baltimore this weekend, and we want to get this win. We want to we go up 2 games on them. We win the division, and I got to be honest. You got Kansas City coming after Patrick Mahomes. What did he sprain ankle? Is this what I'm hearing? A high ankle sprain, Mike?
I think so. It might be another one that he had. I think I'm checking now just to double check to verify because that's what I initially thought it was. Give me a second here.
Yeah, as far as I know, I heard that Patrick Mahomes he sustained a high ankle sprain on the game on Sunday against Cleveland. Mike is going to look into that real quick. I'm like 96.5% sure that that's what's going on with him. But you know what? With a high
Yeah.
ankle sprain, I don't remember who it was on our team, but it kept them out quite a while. Who was that? Was it
It
Highsmith
was
or somebody?
no, it was Roman Wilson kept him out for the longest time. Then Wilson ended up getting with the hamstring injury, and I know Mahomes had the high ankle sprain last year as well.
Yes.
And Kenny Pickett had one too last year's, and everyone came back at like different times from like the
It
different
certainly took
grades.
longer than 8 days. I could
Yeah,
certainly attest to that because I remember saying, Mike,
Those high
these are
ankle
ankle
sprains are
sprains.
tough,
I
dude.
had an
They're
ankle
tough.
sprain when I was I
I
had
had
an
one
ankle
too.
sprain
It's
when I was younger.
terrible.
I was back to work with I can have to work within 3 days. Walking on my ankles just so I'm saying a high ankle sprain. So in theory, home to play next Wednesday unless they sprinkle some. He's available. But Mike, so is that what you can confirm as well on this injury?
yeah. It's a mild high ankle sprain, and that's like the ligament damage. So we'll see. We'll see if he's back. Hopefully, he's
Again,
not back for this one.
any player that we had, Mike, with the ankle sprain certainly took longer than 8 days to heal. So we'll see about that. And that kind of changes things a little bit, but it might be a little bit too late. If he is rolling with the high ankle sprain and he can't play and we do win, it might just be a little too late. I think the game that we lost last week was that was the equalizer, and that kind of put us out of those first two spots, which I'm fine with. Let's get to the board. Let's get to the board, guys. I want to get to the board early today. I want to get to the board often today. It is Christmas time, and I feel the Christmas spirit, Mike. So let's get to the board. Let's do it early, man.
Oh God. Ryan's feeling jolly.
I am jolly. You know, I was doing my car yesterday. You ever had one of them moments where something just hits you out of nowhere and it just kind of makes you chuckle?
Mm-hmm.
What about when people say, is this how you get your jollies? Isn't that a funny thing to say to somebody? Mike, is this how you get your jollies?
Yeah, this is
It's
how
a
I get
weird
my
thing.
jollies.
I was in my car and I just popped into my head for some reason. I thought, what a weird thing to say. Finch, is this how you get your jollies?
I get my jollies by watching the Steelers play winning football. That's how I get my jollies. So I'm not very jolly right now.
No, you're not. You're Finchy's jollied out right now.
I'm too jolly.
All right, guys, let's talk about some of these messages. Going back, let's see. Jen says, "What kind of dogs do you have?" She says that. She says, "I have a Cane Corso." We'll get to John's answer in just a moment. Jen also says, "Guys, Wisconsin cheese. I get 5 pounds of cheese for $1.50 and cases of slice for $2. This is in Wisconsin, man. They're all about the cheese over there.
I want me some
Bro,
cheese.
I'm moving to Wisconsin.
Me too.
You know, it's crazy. Anything that we're known for is expensive. You know, if you want cheese, you could get 5-pound bags for $1.50. Let's say
meanwhile,
in Pittsburgh,
Permani sandwich costs $23.
Permani's exactly. Also, guys, let's see where we be. Kenneth McNair says, "Hey guys, this is Turnaround Tuesday. I think this game would be a statement game. Odds stacked against us. We need to come through and show what we are made of." Feel the Steel says, "Flying Derpy's aunt." And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, Finn. So there you go.
Always
you
comes
and
back
Peaches
to
go
that
down
lady.
to Vegas.
It does. Peaches.
Boom.
It does. Boom. John says, Fincher and Derpy's aunt in Vegas. Oh boy. That was cool. I'm sorry. John says that. What's that?
So that would be a good time in Vegas for those three.
I don't hate it.
I don't know. I think John would be fun and Peaches would be a good time, but I don't know much about hanging out with Finch being a great time. But
ouch.
Let's move on. Let's see, guys. Male terrier from Spain and female chihuahua from Romania. I picked them up when living in Germany. They're my babies. That's what John said about his dogs. Kenneth says no team has won the AFC more than 3 years in a row. We cannot let Baltimore do that. We need the North Division Championship as well as a home playoff game.
Wait, did he say no team has won the AFC more than 3 times? I mean, what about the Buffalo Bills?
AFC North.
Oh, AFC North. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I guess New
Yeah,
England
oh
would
god.
certainly do pretty well in that
yeah, they won
category
it
as well.
90 years in a row.
Yeah,
or
the
something.
East. Yeah, F them. F New England. But yeah, Kenneth, right,
Like
man.
I
We
said,
we
I
need to
think
whoop that
ultimately
ass.
the big thing about this coming week is I think it's you want this win, of course, because you want them bragging rights. You want to say you beat the Ravens, but you want that home game in the first round. I think that's the big thing here moving forward, guys. In the Field of Steel says putting it on board today, baby. Smith and Steeler offense better show up. Says I made homemade sausage, runny egg McMuffin. Field of Steel says don't
That
know if you
sounds
saw it on the
so
board
fucking good.
yesterday.
What time are you inviting us over?
But Watt almost had a double-double on Sunday. Watt almost had a double-double on Sunday. Ron says Christmas and the holidays this year isn't good for me. First year being, yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that, Ron. Yeah, he said the ankle sprain.
We're here for you, Ron.
Time to fly, Mr. Miyagi to Pittsburgh. John says this. Also, Jen says Merry Christmas, Ron. I can see why. Sending you support. Yes, absolutely for Ron. He says about Mahomes. And finally, right down here at the bottom, the very last message I got, guys, from John says, right now, hanging in there. The Steelers are playing on Christmas. Alone can be blessing after the rough wave. There's nothing I like more than a lone, quiet Christmas, but that's just me, guys. Let's talk about this game. Getting ready to this game we're ready to play on Saturday. Baltimore Ravens. Deontay Johnson, this is the part of the big story as well. Deontay Johnson has been rolled out, not only for the game, but he has been rolled out of all Baltimore Raven activities throughout the week. It was announced yesterday Deontay Johnson was mutually excused from the Ravens team activities this week, guys. What the hell is going on with him? What's this all about, Finch? Why does anybody even care? Let him stay on the sideline.
There's got to be something in the background that we don't know about, right? Like, why?
There has to be.
Dude he has some talent. I mean, I know we made fun of him here and called him glitch and stuff, but the guy, I mean, he can run. He's fast. Like, I don't get it. There has to be some sort of X factor that we're not aware of. Maybe he's a jerk. Maybe his work ethic sucks. Who knows, dude? Teams release people all the time for reasons that we have no idea. All I'm saying is that all the idiots that are saying bring him to Pittsburgh, I'm not into that idea. So
no,
it is what it is.
We
tried, it failed. Move along.
It's like
he'll be a Raider next year.
It's like when you fire somebody at a job, you generally don't hire them back. You know what I mean? There's a reason that you fire them.
There's a reason that they're not there anymore. Exactly.
Right.
So it is what it is for him. Wish him the best. Whatever.
Absolutely.
A couple I like what Kenneth is saying. You know, Deontay Johnson, aka Tomlin's secret agent, go in there and cause discord and strife amongst the Ravens.
You know what? I mean, I don't hate that idea.
Yeah, Ron's saying that the suspension has been lifted. Like they're bringing him back. I'm going to take a look at that real quick. If so, that's huge. And they realize, hey, do we need this guy? Did someone get hurt? And like Jen,
Jen just made a great point on the board. She says the Ravens signing OBJ and cutting Deontay. I would do that because again, I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't. Would you?
OBJ still washed.
Does it even matter at this point? Like they have 3 wide receivers. They could make a good run. Do they even have to mess around and entertain these ideas?
Clank Johnson. That's a great line. I like that.
I like Mark. It. But yeah, I wouldn't sign OBJ. He hasn't done anything in years. You know,
and he's another proven toxic player, dude. He's shown it time and time again. The Steelers right now, our team is probably the least toxic it has been in years. Yeah. I mean, you guys remember all the stuff with Le'Veon and AB, especially AB, Juju. And I like Juju, but he was, the TikTok thing. He had a toxic attitude. He was dancing on the logos. Like this team right now is really together mentally, and they are not playing their 100% best, but you just know that those guys love each other and they're there for each other, and they have that sort of Pittsburgh Penguins feeling to them that's really great. And I've said before, Russ Wilson is a big part of that. Cam Hayward's a big part of that. We don't need toxicity right now. They can keep that. Deontay, OBJ, get the hell out of here. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I don't need.
And one thing you really have to decide is this. Hold on, Mike. Mike, hold on 1 second. The one thing you have to decide. I just want to respond to what Finch said. Is this? Is the toxicity, does it outweigh the production, or does the production outweigh the toxicity? And as far as these 2 players, I think the toxicity certainly outweighs the production. And there's a reason. A reason these guys got cut. It's because they're not producing and they're toxic. Baltimore, again, I think it goes a little bit deeper into them why they would sign Deontay. who knows? Again, like Finn said, what goes on behind closed doors. But again, there's a reason that these two guys aren't working right now in the NFL, and that is what it is. Let's see, Mike. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry, you had something to say.
No, I was going to say, actually, I lost what I was going to say. Never mind. I had it twice and I lost it. You're good, bro.
Ravens need more toxic. I couldn't agree more with Jen. We'll take some more toxic in Baltimore this weekend for that team. Did you read the Kenneth comment, Mike?
Yeah, I popped it up there. I like it. Like there's he saw that there's a mutual agreement between Johnson and the Ravens pretty much go away for a while. That's like the last article I read too that was just put out 5 hours ago is like Harbaugh saying, we're sending him home this week and next week will take care of itself. And unless there's another report out there, that's the last I saw as well. I was like, just go home this week. We need to focus on the Steelers.
Is it possible at all? Let me ask you guys, and on the board as well. Don't hesitate to chime in. All right, let me give you these names again: George Pickens, Larry Ogunjobi, Deshaun Elliott, Dante Jackson, Justin Fields, and T.J. Watt. Is there any chance this team stands a chance against Baltimore on Sunday without these 6 players?
No,
not without all 6, but injury reports this time of the year always have a whole bunch of names on them, right? I mean, that's the whole point. That's the whole thing with football is it's a long, grueling season, and it's a hard, tough sport. The list always looks like this come Christmas time. So we just have to hope that these guys are doing their
Who
best
on this
to
list,
get back on
Finch,
the field.
needs to be in the lineup on Sunday? I listen. You could say that Justin Fields don't need to be active. I mean, you use him he's a situational player at this time, and you'd certainly need him
until
if
something
Russell
happens
Wilson
to Russ
would go down.
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
What's that?
I was just saying what you just said. Literally, it was if Russell Wilson goes down, suddenly Fields becomes very important. So
You're right. Also, I mean, you could get by without an Ogunjobi. You could, but you got to get some of these guys back. As I said earlier, guys, and Coach Tomlin said it's all hands on deck. I mean, this is what it comes down to. Again, I said earlier in the week, last week, treat these 3 games like playoffs. And again, you have the luxury of losing if you don't, and you don't have to go home if you lose any of these games. But you want to be getting ready to play your best football right now, moving forward. Again, we've already seen that something that we knew all along. This team wasn't invincible. This team was certainly susceptible to losing, and having a difficult time against the upper echelon teams, the top 4 teams that I continue to call them: Kansas City, Buffalo, Detroit, and Philadelphia. That's the code we have to crack, guys. We have to figure out how to be able to beat any of those teams. I think Baltimore, they fit. They're in our level. They're in our tier. I think that again, the amount of wins we have over the last 10 games or whatever it is pretty incredible. And I think that it's going to be difficult to continue that because the Baltimore Ravens, they're very similar to Pittsburgh Steelers, and a lot of people might say they're more talented at this point, guys. And with the rivalry being the way that it is, would you say to yourself after losing 8 of 9 or 9 of 10 or whatever it is that, what, we're ready. We're ready to beat these Ravens. We need to get this win. So, in their minds, the Steelers losing 2 games in a row isn't anything. It's nothing. We want to win this game. We need to win this game.
Yeah.
We have the talent to win this game. So, guys, this trial playoff run, how does the rest of it go for you, Mike? I mean, you see the way that it went in Philadelphia. You know the story for Baltimore. We play next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow. We play the Chiefs. How does these 3 games turn out, Mike, when it's all said and done?
It's all going to depend on back to your original question of who's going to be healthy, who's going to play. If we have T.J. Watt, we have Deshaun Elliott, and we have George Pickens, we beat the Ravens. We probably can pull off the upset against the Chiefs if Mahomes is not in there. But it comes back to those 3. Those 3 are the key. Ogunjobi, I would like to have him back. That way you can have Montravius Adams as your number 1 backup, and then Loudermilk gets bumped a little bit further down. So Ogunjobi is an important player, but I think the big 3 are Pickens, Watt, Elliott. Ooh, I even forgot Dante Jackson. You got to get him back in there too. I don't want to go a whole game with like a James Pierre. Cam Sutton's better on the inside than the outside. Are we going to trust Corey Trice on the outside? So we revise that. If we have the big four of Watt, Pickens, Elliott, and Jackson, we can win these next 3 games.
Finch, does Pickens make that much of a difference? You could argue last game that we certainly could have used them, but at the end of the day, we just took an ass whooping. It was offense, it was defense, it was not being able to score, getting 2 turnovers, or in the first quarter, just getting a field goal out of it. Is Pickens that big of a? Does he open up the offense that much to where
I don't
it's
think
gonna,
there's
yeah,
in that Eagles game, no. The Eagles we just got outclassed and outmatched. I don't care if we could have had Swan and Stallworth in there, and probably still would have lost that game. So that was a team loss for the Steelers, and one
Finch,
player
what do
I
we
don't
do?
think was going to make the difference.
What could we have done different to win the football game that we just lost on Sunday?
Play better defense
If you're
would have
the
been
coach,
one. Stopping AJ Brown last week would have been pretty big for us. They focused on Saquon and did a pretty good job of limiting him, but it turned the Eagles into a one-dimensional offense, sure, but you still have to respect Saquon, so it made it
and
tough for the
unfortunately, that
defense
was the
all
dimension
around.
we couldn't stop.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah, unfortunately it
unfortunately,
was.
that was
So
the guys. So I'm looking at the board here. I mean, there's some optimism going on. It seems like that people are they're landing on their feet, if you will, after the Philadelphia loss, which I'm glad. There's again, you take losses during the season. It's an NFC team, so things could certainly be a lot worse. That's what Phil the Steel was saying on the board. He said the play is different in rivalry games. Absolutely. And a Steeler Raven game is like no other. I mean, it's its own entity. So I think anybody could win. But I think as a Steeler fan, we all have to, in the back of our minds, think to ourselves, Baltimore's kind of due, aren't they, Mike?
Baltimore is kind of due, but at the same time, we still have their number. Lamar Jackson still sees the black and golds and forgets how to play like he does against just about every other team in the league, not named the Steelers or Kansas City. And like Ron's saying, we didn't get that quality number 2 in the offseason. Everyone that we were linked to in the trade, though, was what? Ayuk hurt, Christian Kirk hurt, Devontae Adams hasn't been the same Devontae Adams since he left to Green Bay. So, not right there. And yeah, we kind of got screwed getting Mike Williams. All the free agents were overpaid and not producing that well. So it kind of sucked right there. And then the injury to Roman Wilson that screwed us over. My God, and like Roger saying, give up on the run and pass more. We have to pass more, especially on second down. We run the
Mike, when it
most
was
on the
second and
second down.
21, why do we pass the
Yeah,
ball behind the line of scrimmage?
right. They think it's like that's the classic case of we're just going to try to outsmart them because they know we're going to throw it deep. We're going to screw them, try and fool them by throwing short, and they know we're going to throw short, but they wouldn't think we're going to throw short, so we're going to throw short. Even though everyone knows, like Russell Wilson is they check down artists, so yeah, they're going to key in on that. It made no sense. And Ron, yep, for me and you, buddy, over our defense, we can't stop over the middle. I have been watching that my entire life with this team. Like those 3 things, right, or multiple things, killed us in this game.
I'm wondering why
And like
Terrell
that big
Austin does not listen to Ron Navy. That's all. Mike, it's going through my head all season long. Anytime I
yeah.
think of a pass being over the middle, I think Ron knows this. Ron brings this up every week. Why does our coaching? Why does Terrell Austin? Why is the coaching staff in Pittsburgh not figure this out, guys? Is it just we're not that good to pick up on this? We're not that smart. I mean, here we are. We're trying to outsmart people, as we said. Guys, 2nd and 21. We throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage in a game that every drive is a premium. You gotta be productive on every drive because Philadelphia sure was. So you had to run with them. So there are still some things. And as you said, Mike and Ron, again, I don't know how many weeks have gone by where that comment comes up on the board from Ron. It's every week, and still it's not being fixed on the field. Why is this? Why is that?
I've been watching Steeler football for damn near 40 years, and I've seen this from Dom Capers, Dick LeBeau, Terrell Austin. The Steelers have always been exploited in the middle of the field, and especially with tight ends or the shifty receivers. It is what it is. And
Guys, it
you
is
know, I've seen this for a bit my whole life. The middle of the field, we get exploited.
guys, it's halfway. Mike goes, I
No, it's
gotta
just
start.
I've just seen it every time playing here. I remember those Super Bowl runs. My dad and I joking, going, "Oh, it's 3rd and 20. They're going to pass over the middle. They're going to exploit the zone blitz, and that's what teams did. And it's still happening now. It's happened forever here in Pittsburgh. It feels like."
It is halftime, everybody. I do want to encourage you to go out and make your cast your votes for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make the Pro Bowl team, guys. A lot of guys are gonna. There's a few guys that's gonna be on the team. They are number one right now in the voting. T.J. Watt, for example, but there are still guys that need your help. Like Miles Killebrew and a few other guys that are just right outside the voting that can certainly make it. Calvin Austin, he can make it as a specialist. Get on and vote for your favorite Pittsburgh Steelers. It takes 2 seconds. Just move your thumb over, click the button a couple of times, and get your favorite Steelers on the Pro Bowl team. Mike, let's come back to you. Boom. As we let's catch up on a couple of these messages, Mike, and then we will certainly get back to your point there. I do want to I want to welcome Titus Kitchen. Titus Kitchen, he says Steelers and Pickens and Steelers need Pickens and TJ, or it's another loss. Do you guys agree with that? Do we need Pickens and TJ for sure? Those two guys that we need in this game to win. Can we get 4 guys back? Let's say the other 4. Can we win this game without TJ and Pickens, Finch?
Can we? Sure. Will we? Probably not.
Okay. One man's opinion. Good morning, Brian. He says, I just spoke to Derpy. He's questionable for the rest of the week due to a high ankle sprain. He had a tough battle with the San Peaches last night. So I do know that he is battling injury.
Those high ankle sprains are contagious.
Jen says, I'm worried about the number snaps our defense played Sunday and how it affects this game. Can't be on the field that long. Granted, the Baltimore Ravens did win. They beat the Giants. They beat them pretty, handedly. But at the end of the day, us, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Houston Texans, we all have the same schedule. It all kind of plays out the same for us. We played Sunday, Saturday, and then we'll all play on Christmas. So is it going to affect us? I'm sure it will. It's going to take a beating, but it is going to take a beating on these other teams as well, especially if a Patrick Mahomes can't show up next Wednesday in Pittsburgh. Ron says Steelers screwed up by not going out and getting a quality number 2, as Mike said. Mike, what's Finch, Mike, anybody, guys, can you tell me what the hell's going on with Mike Williams and why did we even get him? If we're not going to use him, and listen to this, he makes plays every time he's in. He catches in his very first game a game-winning touchdown. He makes a couple of clutch catches, not this past week, but the week before. Yeah, last week he catches the one ball that was thrown to him. I think it was maybe for a first down. What's the deal? Just let the guy play. And if you are letting him play, why isn't Russell Wilson ever getting to him? Because in theory he is one of your better receivers. Why does it never get to him when he's looking for receivers?
Yeah, I don't know why Russ isn't looking his way when he's out there. To be honest with you, that would be my first read now that Pickens is gone. Is like I'm going to look at Mike Williams, and then I'm going to look for Pat Freiermuth. And those are be my first 2 reads. In which, as a veteran quarterback, those should be his first 2 reads. I'm going to find out where my best receiver is, I find out where my tight end is, and then I'm going to work accordingly. And why he's not targeting him, I do not know.
I just feel like Russ is having trouble seeing downfield.
Yeah,
it just seems that way. Like, yeah. I mean, that's been one of his biggest criticisms his entire career. And early in his career, he proved all the haters wrong. Because obviously he has a big arm, and he still has a good arm, and he's pretty good on his feet. Even at his age now, he's still good on his feet. But yeah, he just doesn't see open guys all the time. And I mentioned this yesterday. There were a couple of plays, and they pointed it out in the replays, and Tom Brady brought it up as commentary that he missed this guy. He didn't see him. There was Williams was down the field once, not wide open, but he was NFL open, and Russ could have dropped the ball in there. He didn't see him. He checked it down. I'm thinking that there's something there. There's something to that argument that Russ just isn't seeing anything that's down the field very much, unless somebody's
I thought that on a couple of occasions. I thought that on a couple of occasions when I'm watching the game. You kind of see him getting buried into the pocket, and you're like, "Hey, geez, he can't even see out of the pocket. This can't be good."
Yeah.
And then he either takes a sack or just kind of throws it on the ground. But what are you going to do? I mean, you can't put the guy on stilts out there. I mean,
No, you can't.
you just got to, it is what it is. Let's get back to a couple more of these messages, guys. Mark Malone says, not run off guard on first down.
Right?
Roger says, give up on the run and pass more. Stop being so predictable on first and second down. Good advice. Ron says, we never stop over the middle. He says, our red zone is number 29. Jeez,
That's
29.
what's disconcerting right there is the red zone, because Russ had a really good red zone percentage last year in Denver, and this year he looks lost out there.
Titus also says TJ and Cam are both overpaid. I think we certainly make that argument on Cam all year round. That's a 365 day year
This
thing
year
here
though,
on the show.
I think Cam is earning his paycheck. TJ is earning his paycheck. So far, Minka Fitzpatrick has not earned his paycheck in the past 2 seasons.
All right. Phil still says, I think Ron is talking about the red zone offense for the Steelers.
Yeah, red zone offense atrocious.
Malone says Tallman is the great secondary master. He'll get it straightened out. Also, John says conservative play on both sides of the ball won't beat tier 1 teams. I agree, but it will get a winning season record. I agree. I think that seems to be the recipe. Also, Ron says, Mark, you have too much confidence in Tomlin. Burke Heating and Air Conditioning, I want to say welcome. He says we need another wide receiver. Absolutely. But at this point, what are you going to do? You're scraping the bottom of the barrel. There's not much you could do at this point. I mean, we have what we have. If we want to sign a Deontay when he gets cut, or if we want to pick up OBJ,
we're getting Deontay, baby. We're getting the band back together.
See, that's what I mean. We are what we are at this point. I think we dropped the ball, Mike, and it wasn't like it came up at the last moment at the trade deadline where we said, you know what, we better go out and get a wide receiver, and then it just didn't happen. This is something we've been talking about off season.
Yeah.
This is something we've been talking about preseason. This is something we've been talking about all season. This is something we've been talking about all the way to the trade deadline, and the best they could do was Mike Williams. That screws us, especially because they don't utilize the actual guy that they did get.
Yeah. Well, they had a deal in place for Brandon Ayuk, but he had one more conversation with San Fran, signs there, gets hurt. There was rumors that Devontae Adams wanted to come here, but he decided to go with his buddy up in New York, and the team honored that. We had a deal in place to get Christian Kirk, that he gets hurt, so that trade fell through, and then the only option left was Mike Williams. It's not like Omar Khan didn't try during the whole process to get someone. And Roman Wilson is on IR. He's been on IR for the past 3 months.
Omar Khan wanted to be the smarter person, and sometimes that doesn't work out. And you like to make the smart decisions, but at the end of the day, him playing, you've seen the way that whole thing with San Francisco played out. It was a chess match all off season long. At some point, if you would have pulled the trigger on him, and again, yes, he had an injury in San Francisco. You don't know if that would happen in Pittsburgh. But, at some points you just felt, dude, pull the trigger, take a little bit of a loss. You can't get one over on everybody. Here's the fact of the matter. We're going into the playoffs with one receiver that's of 1-2 caliber, and he is not healthy and kind of an unpredictable guy, I think you could say. So, this kind of scares me. And the fact that we was unable to pull the trigger at some point and get somebody, I think that's a faux pas, but it's something we have to deal with. Let me get a couple more of these in, guys. Mark Malone says Derpy more like sprained wrist. More like a sprained wrist is the injury that Derpy is dealing with over there. What else does he say? I'd rather have the team. Okay, Roger says I'd rather have the team game plan for Pickens. And what? Than not. Absolutely. Boz breaking the season field goal record isn't a good thing. Is it? What a good point. But you know what? It seems to me through the course of my life, this isn't the most that the Steelers had to kick field goals. Doesn't it seem to you like in years that we weren't good, we kicked a lot of field goals and it seemed like it was more than this? Why doesn't it seem like this is anything out of the norm?
I don't know. It's just weird that I totally forgot that Atlanta game. He was the entire offense. He had that 4 or 5 field goal game, and then had another 5-6 field goal game. I totally forgot about that one in Atlanta. Yeah, I forgot about the one in Atlanta. It's just been a weird season when it comes for him, because there's been a couple games where he didn't even see the field for field goals. So it's been a lot of field goals in one game. Yeah, very consistent when we need him.
I mean, we love Boz, But
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
good to
Finch,
have him. Yeah, you
but
can't
you
say
guys are
anything
Steeler
bad
fans
about
just like
Voss.
I am. You know who else we loved? We loved Jeff Reed because he kicked a lot of field goals. You know who else we loved? We loved Norm Johnson and Gary Anderson. It just feels like why it doesn't feel like we're kicking that many more field goals this year than we
Yeah.
normally do. Again, he gets the record, 144 points scored. He sets that record as well. So to me, it doesn't feel like it, but the numbers are there, guys. Ron Navy says Russ holds onto the ball way too long. He can't see over the line. I do think that is part of the issue. Jen says the Eagles are way more physical than the Giants. Just saying, kind of going back to all of us teams playing in the same schedule. You know what? Might be a good point, Finch. Roger says Russ might be he says he is scared to throw interceptions. He'd rather throw
Yeah.
the ball away. You guys think that maybe that's a little bit of a problem with Russell Wilson? He's just afraid to take the shot sometimes because he's afraid of an interception instead of throwing the ball down. Again, 2nd and 21, throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage can't be on your play sheet.
Yeah,
But if he was winging it down the field more often and he was getting 2 or 3 picks a game, we would really be bitching about that too, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but there's a fine line too that like you got to take the shot when it's there, but like just to throw it downfield,
That's just the thing. The shots have been there, and he's not
he's
seeing
just not
it.
taking them. Yeah,
he's not taking them, and that's where the argument it holds water right there. Is it's not a matter of can he do it? It's a matter of if he will do it, and he just hasn't been. So yeah. I mean, you got to respect the fact that he wants to protect the ball, and he does have a great turnover percentage. But at the same time, it's like, bro, you gotta take a shot. Who was it? Wayne Gretzky said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you're not throwing it down the field, you're never going to get that big play.
Yeah.
So maybe he does need to loosen up a little bit and maybe think a little less about his stats and think a little more about maybe pushing the envelope just a little bit.
Yeah, and he only seems really comfortable throwing down the field those deep contested balls.
He has the prettiest ball. Like
it's so like that.
Russ Wilson has great balls.
He has the beautiful balls.
Beautiful balls.
The one he threw down the seam to Calvin Austin when the linebacker
was that the flea flicker?
Yeah, where the linebacker came out of nowhere, and it just was right there. It was a thing of beauty, and he needs to do that more often. Like he needs to anticipate more.
I also wonder
more like Justin Fields. Like he's having to see it before he throws it. When those first couple games he came in, he was throwing on feel, on anticipation of, okay, my guy's going to get open. I'm going to throw it to a spot. My guy's going to get there. It seems now he's waiting for them to get open before he throws it.
Is Russ seeing something in practice that is causing him to lose trust with some of his receivers when it comes to these quick timing routes and stuff like that? I wonder. Also, how much of that is the coaching in his ear saying, hey, if you get the shot downfield, take it, but don't risk it if you're not 100% sure that it's there.
Yeah,
I mean, that could be part of it too.
Yeah, because that's what they did the past couple of years was like play it safe. Well, yeah, it's because you didn't have the quality of quarterback you do now. Russ isn't the quarterback he once was, but he
Russ
still
can
has
put the football anywhere he wants to.
Yeah, and he has
something we haven't had since Ben. And
that's like what Ben said on his podcast. Like he still has that football IQ. You're going to trust him to throw the ball into where he needs to, but at the same time, take a chance every once in a while, dude. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Mark Malone says, "Can Roman Wilson really be that bad?" I think he'd be referring to the injury, maybe.
Well, because he's eligible to return. He's been eligible for the past couple of weeks now, and he has, like they said, he's been running. He's been out there working. So I don't know why. Maybe it's just they decided, you know what, we're just not going to trust a rookie at this point in the season.
Well, you're not really trusting anybody. You bought a veteran.
I know, right?
Who's nothing but made plays every time you thrown it to him. You're not even throwing it to him. So
yeah,
I don't know. Something odd is going on. He says Roman has been hurt all season. He's been running for weeks now. He could still be dead. What was the deal? Didn't he have the window, Mike? Didn't he have the 21 day window at one point?
Roman, yeah, it started on week 13, so it's going to be closing here soon if they decide to bring him back or not.
Okay, I see. Ron Navy, he said that's why we are 29 in the row. Okay. Also, Mark Malone says, I'm glad he's safe with the ball. He probably can't see. A lot of the time he's 5'10". And finally on the board, Phil still says, so it has gone from Russ is cooking to Russ can't see the field. Very, very interesting point, Phil Steele, because just 3 days ago, everyone was feeling real confident. They said, hey, this guy had won, future Hall of Famer had won Super Bowls. He's been to Super Bowls. We're confident. We've won so many games in a row. He only lost a snow globe game to this point. Now everybody has something a little different to say. He's too short. He's not throwing the ball down the field. He's too safe. What Russell Wilson do you expect to see, Mike? Even not over these next couple of games. I'm talking about here in a couple of weeks. Once January comes and the playoffs start, which Russell Wilson do you think we're going to see? And do you think it's going to be a problem for him to overcome the being 5'10", if that in fact is the reason why a lot of these receivers aren't being seen? And as you guys are saying.
I think this week we're going to see the Russ we saw against Cincinnati. Baltimore's pass defense is even worse. They're giving up 258 yards a game. Their secondary is not what it once was. So Russ is going to go. It's going to go back to Russ being cooking. It's just this game right here against the
Also, let's not.
Excuse me. Against I'm sorry, I got a little congestion there. It was against Philly. It's the best defense in the NFL. So they were throwing a lot of confusing looks out there. They had a lot of pressure in his face, and he was missing guys that were open. They were there, probably just couldn't see him from the pressure. And, he has to slide in the pocket to see over the line. It's just the way him and Drew Brees and Kyler Murray play.
Yeah, and to just reiterate that point, we're not exactly thinking about the quality of the opponent either. I mean, we lost to Cleveland and Philly, and both of those teams have pretty darn good defenses.
But Finch, aren't we going to face good defenses in the playoffs?
Yes, we are. Absolutely. I'm just going by what we have seen so far. Okay. We've seen Russ cook against Baltimore, against Cincinnati, who, I mean, they're the worst defenses in our division, and some of the worst, especially with Cincinnati, in the whole AFC. So that's the dichotomy there when it comes to what we've seen already. Now the Ravens coming up once again. Their pass defense has not been good this year. We exposed them earlier in the season, and there's no reason to think we can't do it again as long as obviously everybody's healthy and whatnot. But yeah, you're exactly right, Ryan. Once you get to the playoffs, every defense is going to be pretty good. Baltimore might be the one team we might see who is probably the least good of those defenses in the playoffs this year. But that has a lot to do with it too. We can't just constantly discredit Russ here. We got to understand that he is playing against a couple of top-notch defenses in those games that he lost. Yeah. It's not excuses. That's just the reality of it.
In Kansas City and Denver, their pass defenses, they're
mediocre at
best. They're right in
the
middle. So theoretically, he should be able to pass against them as well, because they're not like Kansas City's secondary is not what it was last year or the year before, when they had two lockdown corners. Now they're starting to slip, and Denver's secondary, we already exposed them with Justin Fields. So
that was at the very beginning of the
season.
That was
a very different team.
Exactly. Denver has really picked it up.
Yeah, they've really picked it up. But George has their cornerbacks. He's in their head. He can beat them. And so those two teams, and if Baltimore, those three teams wouldn't scare me. It's when you get to the Chargers, they're top 10 in pass defense. It's like, okay, then it's like you start to think that's might be where we start to face a problem in the pass game.
The Bills.
Mark Malone says, I hope the hell we see the Russ that's throwing the Pickens. And Ron, I think Ron makes a great point here. Ron says, when facing bad defenses like Cincinnati, which was a very bad defense, Russ looks great. But when facing a defense that's good, he looks average. This is one of the more valid points I see on the board today, guys. Put him against the Cincinnati defense, he threw 400 yards. Put him against a defense that's a good defense. We got a little look at what that looks like on Sunday. So hopefully it just comes down to adjustments and strategy, and almost like David and Goliath, at some point you got to figure out a different way to win a football game if you can't just come out and impose your will on a team, which I think a lot of times, a team like Kansas City does. Sometimes, they just find ways to win. That's what we have to do. I think we just got to be outside that box sometimes to figure out ways to win. So you're not always going to be bigger, stronger, faster, and better than the guy across from you, but you still got to use this to figure out something that you could do, guys. And we will have to certainly figure something out, because as Finch said, there's playoffs every team is going to have a good defense. You might see Denver early. You might see the Chargers early. We already know those two teams got a pretty good defense. The Chiefs, as you said, I mean, you kind of discredited the secondary, but they got a damn good defense. Everybody is going to have a good defense when it comes time for the playoffs.
Right.
Everybody.
And what's killing the passing game too, excuse me, is the running game hasn't been consistent. We will hit flashes of where Jalen and Najee will hit some long gainers, but then you get 2 yards, 3 yards, a loss.
I think our running game is inconsistent as
but
it's
like
been in years.
the threat
Consistently average.
we had like 120 against Cleveland, but it didn't feel like we had 120 yards. It's just it needs to be more consistent so they can hit that play action, which was what we were doing earlier in the season when that run game was really clicking.
Well, I think we could all
We
agree
were protecting
that
the football a lot better earlier in the season too with the run game.
And
I mean,
also,
Najee's
guys, you got
had
to
some
think
fumbles and-
a lot of things it comes down to this. It's run blocking. You have to have the guys in front of you blocking the people on the other team, and a lot of time it's out of the running back's hands. He gets the ball, he finds a hole, and he goes to it. Is that hole always there? I'm seeing these comments about the off tackle run. Things like this. I mean, we're not perfect. We know that. We can acknowledge that this team has a ways to go. We belong. We are in that tier right below those top four. I do believe that with all my heart. Phyllis still says, okay, I got a question, Fincher. Finch, what is football about? What is football? I don't understand what the question was.
Yeah, I was reading that. I'm not exactly sure where he's going with that field, but or what I said that you're responding to, if you could be more specific. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, maybe he was talking about how I mentioned that the quality of the defense is what's making it tough for us. Yeah, you're right about one thing, Phil. It is about beating that high quality defense, right? That's what we want to do. You can't make excuses and say, oh, well, Russ sucked because the other defense was really good. I mean, yeah, maybe that is the case, but it's a bunch of things working together against Russ right now. His height disadvantage.
Philly's always got a good
trust.
defense. They're like the Steelers. They always got a good defense. Russell Wilson was 6-0 against this team, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, all the way up into this game. He was able to beat good defenses before. He was able to beat Philadelphia defenses before. So is it deeper? Is it deeper than Russ, guys?
Football is a team game, man. That's what it is. The quality right now of our offensive skill players just aren't up to the quality of the defensive.
Well, we still don't have a number 2 wide receiver. We don't have a number 2 receiver. Here we go, guys. Three games left. We're not going to. So again, that's just our reality. We have to accept. And Roger says that's why I say reverse the game plan. Throw down the throw to the open, run rather
the old
than
Belichick mentality right there.
Yeah, dude. What about the flea flicker? I was reading this, and the flea flicker popped into my head halfway through this comment. What about the flea flicker? You don't see the flea flicker often anymore. It was a really good play. It was effective.
It's been a while since I've seen us throw one.
Yeah, you don't see it often anymore.
Yeah.
Guys, let's move on a little bit. Something else here I do want to talk about the Steelers. Okay, so I gave myself a 24-hour period. We didn't talk about it much yesterday, but the Darnell Washington block that led to a penalty where the other guy was the one that threw the punch and Darnell Washington got penalized. George Pickens insists there's a vendetta against the Steelers. We've had this conversation. I get it. I understand what he's saying. Again, we've been Steeler fans our whole lives. We've seen it as well.
Yeah, always Steeler fans think that way, by the way.
But on the other hand, Finch, if you take a guy and you block him clear downfield and he turns and punches you in the head and you get a penalty called on you, guys, let's talk about that play for just a minute. I don't want to sit here and play the blame game on referees and that, but what truly happened, Mike Finch, on that play? Because again, that's what you're taught to do from playing Mighty Mites. You take a guy, you block him, and you blade to the whistle, which is exactly what he did. And he kicked his ass. I mean, he pushed his ass all around the field. The dude, in response, punches him, and the penalty comes back on Washington. What happened on that play, guys?
Darnell Washington got, like you said, he blocked the guy, gets punched in the face. More Eagles players come up and push him, and he walks away from the whole thing going on and gets a flag. Calvin Austin comes and sees what's going in, gets hit. He retaliates, then he gets the gets the penalty, and there are more punches thrown by Eagles players. The Steelers throw no punches. The only punch that we threw was by Calvin Austin. We played it smart. We kept our cool. We pulled our guys off. We were just pushing their guys away.
Yeah, Austin
Yeah,
deserved to be penalized, right? But the fact
but
that
so
they
did the guy
didn't
that hit
penalize
him.
any Eagles is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
that should have been offsetting, and they should just, that's what it should have been. It should have been an
Yeah.
offsetting penalty.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the Eagles didn't get called on that. It makes zero sense. Now, you want to say you want to penalize Washington. There could have been something that we don't know. Maybe he said something. Maybe he said a bad word or something that the refs didn't like, and they got him for unsportsmanlike. Like, I get it. That makes sense. You hear about that from time to time.
Yeah.
You'll hear stories of someone dropping like the N word or something on the field, and that deservedly so. You shouldn't be saying stuff like that. And maybe that's what happened here. But at the same time, it's like, how the hell did we not penalize the guy that threw the first punch?
Exactly.
Of course you're going to punish the retaliatory part of it, retaliation, but I have no words, dude. That was just terrible. It's just terrible.
Well, now was that on our first drive of the game?
I don't recall.
I don't think it was the first drive, but it was early.
Yeah,
because I was going to pull up the footage real quick if I could find it.
Yeah, it was in the first quarter.
Yeah, I can't find the footage. But yeah, like we threw no punches, like literally Darnell Washington, that little receiver, jacked him in the jaw in front of the official, and nothing
in the
was
end
thrown.
zone in front of everybody, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
and then it's on like the game film cameras, and then they want to say, oh, there's nothing on replay assist. No, it was a BS thing.
you could see it on the replay, and then on top of that, all the fans had phones. I've seen multiple videos of fans in the end zone, and I'm just like, dude, how did they? We saw it at home. How did they miss
that
it?
Beautiful footage where Washington was pushing the guy right to you. The guy must have uploaded his video right there.
Great video.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's what Brian says on the board. Brian says, he said, Washington's block is my second favorite play of the year, right behind the
you gotta love that
goal line play.
You gotta love seeing your players play physically like that. That is proper coaching to him right there, and him doing what he needed to do, and then just getting effed by the referee.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly. I mean, come on. Come on, you can't teach a coach. You can't coach a guy better than what he just did. That's the way to block a guy.
Mike Tomlin gave that guy a big old pat on the back after that game. I know he did. He told him, he probably got in his face, and that's what I want to see. That's what we need to see. That's the attitude we need.
That was a tone setter. I thought that was going to be the tone center of the game right there. Is, hey, you know what? They want to play bully ball. We want to play bully ball. We're not going to back down.
It was a tone setter for the Eagles. The Eagles saw that, and they were like, wow, okay, they're here to play. Let's do this. And then they dominated us.
Yeah, and then the refs throwing both flags on the Steelers. That kind of like told the Steelers, okay, we can't do this. But the Eagles like, oh, we can do it. We can get away with it. They're not going to throw anything on us. Right. I do like in that whole scruffage, though, who was the peacemaker of the Steelers? Broderick flipping Jones.
He came in there. He was getting a little shovey himself, though.
Yeah, he was getting shovey in there, but he was the one talking to the guys to cool down. But he's the one I thought would have seen Darnell.
I hear that he's been mic'd up lately, and that's the reason why he's been on his best behavior.
Whatever we got to do to keep him under control, do it.
He's been instructed to, keep, Mike. Yeah, he told the refs to get the fuck out of his face. You know what? I do too.
Guys, the Baltimore Ravens over that because it was on camera and everything.
Oh, he'll get fined. The fines will come out they usually come out like Friday. Like when the fines come out. So we'll find out. Like Darnell's going to get fined. Calvin Austin's going to get fined, and maybe if we're lucky, one Eagle player will get fined for that whole thing.
It would be an absolute injustice if that Eagles player, and I don't know who he was. I don't remember his name, but it would be an injustice if he didn't get fined. He deserves it too. Yeah. You don't throw punches, dude. You can't throw punches. Yeah. Anybody throws a punch in the NFL after a play should be fined no matter what.
When I was younger and I played football, it was a thing. You don't punch somebody because there's nowhere to punch somebody and hurt them. If you're punching somebody, you're a dumbass because you're going to hurt your hand. A helmet or a
shoulder pad or something.
Yeah. What a dumb thing. Punch somebody in a helmet.
You want to get in somebody's face, you want to jab your jaw, that's fine. Don't throw punches, dude.
The Ravens, let's go over their losses real quick, guys. They did lose early, 27-20 to the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost the second game of the year. That was the first game. The second game of the year, they lost to the hated Raiders. They lose that game 26-23. Both very early games that I say that you have to kind of you have to look past. Then you get to the guys, they did lose to Cleveland. They lost to the Browns just like we did. They lost 29-24. Then they lose to the Steelers 18-16. And just a few weeks ago, they did lose to the Eagles as we did 24-19. So then you look at your common opponents. We lost to the Eagles by 14 points. They lost to the Eagles by 5. We beat the Ravens. All right. The Cleveland game, we lost one against Cleveland. They lost one against Cleveland, both in the same kind of fashion. 29-24, they lost. And I believe we was a 24-19, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Then Vegas, we annihilated Las Vegas. That team, that was kind of a ridiculous game. They lost to Las Vegas 26-23. And then finally, the game that we play on Christmas Day would be their other loss was against the Chiefs. They lose by 7 points. Guys, these two teams, no matter what you say, one has a MVP quality caliber quarterback. The other team has an over-the-hill guy that's 5'10", who just isn't the same anymore. One team has the best running back in the league. I think that some people would say is Derrick Henry. But at the end of the day, these two teams are built to play each other. That's what it's all about in NFL is winning your division. They're built to beat one another. So all these games, guys, this tells me nothing. Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, Saturday, 4:25. That's what it all comes down to. And I believe somebody said on the board, you know what, when it comes down to division games, especially this division game, you throw everything out the window. Guys, it's going to be a big one. We have 3 more days. I keep calling it a short week, but for us, it's really not a short week. We still have the same amount of days. But the Steelers have a short week. But here on the show, football games, the Minnesota Vikings and 30-12 over the Chicago Bears. Then the Atlanta Falcons beat the Las Vegas Raiders 15-9. Also around the league, guys, Nick Chubb has suffered a broken foot in the game against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. Nick Chubb is done. Patrick Mahomes sustains a high ankle sprain. Dallas cornerback Trayvon Diggs, he's going to get surgery, potentially be out for 8 months.
Ooh.
Enough of the injuries, though. Listen to this. I want to hear a couple impressive stats, guys. Yeah. Jared Goff, he's the first player to throw for 400-plus yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions in a loss. 400-plus yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But let me talk about the other guy. Josh Allen. Since he proposed to Haley Steinfeld, he has thrown for 704 passing yards, 151 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns, and 0 turnovers, 0 fumbles, 0 interceptions. Guys, it comes down to quarterback play in the NFL.
Yes,
Are you crazy to say that anything other than a Lions Buffalo Bills Super Bowl is a reality?
It's hard to argue. I think that's one that we want to see, right? As other than the Steelers, you kind of want to see a game like that. You want to see teams that don't get there all the time, and you want to see great players who deserve to win. I mean, I like Josh Allen a lot, and he is the new face of the NFL. He should be the new face of the NFL. He's just a great dude and a great player. Yeah, so I wish him well, and I want him to see him do well. And if it can't be the Steelers, that's a team I'm looking for.
Yeah, they beat us so much. Screw it, let's root for them. That's how I am at this point. With as long as it's not
it's not a team that I absolutely despise. I hate the Ravens. I hate the Chiefs. I hate the Cowboys. I hate the Dolphins. But it's nice to see a team like the Lions or the Bills do well.
I don't think the Lions are going to make it.
The upper echelon team. What?
I was going to say, I don't think the Lions are going to make it. They're losing too many key players on that team. And they had another running back go down.
44 points against the Buffalo Bills the other night. I mean, they're doing something right. I think they're going to listen, guys. Of the 4 upper echelon teams, I'd say in the NFL, I would rather see those 2 teams in the Super Bowl than the others. Philadelphia, I don't want to see them back because F Philly, and then also the Chiefs. Who isn't tired of them? I think America could be satisfied with the Buffalo and Detroit Super Bowl. Let me ask you this real quick, though, guys. If it is a Buffalo and Detroit Super Bowl, which of those 2 teams do you root for, Finch?
I probably root for Detroit, just because they've obviously never been to the Super Bowl. I can remember the Bills being in the Super Bowl, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They're both great teams. It would just be hopefully a nice, entertaining football game if that were the case. But I would probably find myself rooting for the Lions.
Mike, what about you? Real quick, because obviously we're gonna be there. We're gonna win it all. But let's just say,
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
if
hypothetically.
it's one of those teams, who do you root for? Because that would be a very popular Super Bowl.
I'm rooting for the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, the Lions themselves and their fan base are starting to act like they are some
Buffalo's fans ain't
franchise.
though.
Buffalo's at
fans are
least been
pretty
to
rough
4
as
Super
well.
Bowls. At least they've been to 4 Super Bowls. They have, recent success. The Lions, you've been 0-16 more than you've been to the playoffs, and you acting like you're some great historic franchise in the NFL. And
They
they're
are a
just
great historic franchise in the NFL.
Of
They've been around longer
losing.
than almost everybody.
Yeah, but they
they've
have a
sucked
great
in the
history of
Super for the last
losing.
50 years. They haven't
And
been very good,
They
but
forced 2 of the
In the
all-time
Super
greats
Bowl
to
era,
retire
they've been
early
less than
'cause they
desirable.
suck.
yeah, for sure. But to say that there's
Yeah.
no big history there, I mean, they're one of the most historical franchises in the entire league.
Guys, let's jump over to the ice. The Pittsburgh Penguins,
History
they're
of
back
losing.
on ice tonight. They will be hosting the LA Kings. That game is at 7:00 p.m. Also, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the late pickup last year was Brian De La Cruz. He comes to the Pirates, bats .200. He just ended up going to the Atlanta Braves. He signs for a 1-year deal. Mike, we were just having this conversation.
Yeah.
Brian De La Cruz is gone. He is off to the Atlanta Braves. And finally, the Pitt volleyball team. Oh, wait, one more thing about that, Mike. Only 100 days.
Yeah.
100 days from right now till the Pirate season kicked.
I saw that.
Pitch.
I saw that.
100 days. I know that you're just chomping at the bit. And then
you know me. I'm a baseball hound.
And Pitt,
you're a
the
hound dog,
Pitt
all right.
volleyball team, Mike. The Final Four is these 4 teams: the Pitt Panthers, the Louisville Cardinals, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and yes, that's right, the Penn State Nittany Lions. The Final Four in women's volleyball, the Pitt Panthers will be facing off against Louisville Thursday at 6:30 with a chance to play Penn State if they beat Nebraska in the national championship of women's volleyball. Boy, that's going to be a lot of fun. If you don't care about women's volleyball or college volleyball, this is going to be right here on the show. I know that we'll totally have it out if it comes down to Pitt and Penn State.
Oh yeah, like that Pitt team is for their sport. They are been so dominant all season long. Like they should win. They've been Goliath. They've just been stomping everyone. That team is just badass. And real quick, back to the Pirates for De La Cruz. What we gave him for De La Cruz, we could have got a Jazz Chisholm, and he would still be under contract control for the next 2 to 3 years.
I think Jazz Chisholm hit more home runs with the Yankees than De La Cruz hit in the last 3 seasons. I don't know if he did.
It was like all season long. Well, yeah, he out homered him just as his sit in the Yankees than De La Cruz all season long. It was comical.
I also do want to make a announcement, Mike. The picks, I think I lost them, but I do know that Derpy did win one more time, and Mike 12-11. His strategy, boom. His strategy is impregnable. I don't know if you could beat him at this point. I
can't.
Next year, you got to start submitting the picks before the show.
He's like a knuckleball pitcher.
Yeah,
he has this weird, unorthodox style. It's just impossible to beat, Mike, and you're falling to it every week. Derpy wins again, 12-11. No need for the tiebreaker. Derpy is he's the man when it comes to picks, guys.
Like I should have done like what I was gonna say, like just put money down for my picks, put money down on Derpy's picks, and I think I would have made money because winning Derpy won 11 matchups. 12. I picked 11 correct. If you just bet individual games, that's really fucking good. That's a good ROI for fun.
And I do want to say this, just one more thing before we get into the website. Feel the Steel says, "Is volleyball kind of like ping pong?" Just asking. And no, do me a favor, turn on the volleyball games on Thursday and see what I'm talking about. These chicks are hot.
I think that was a dig.
Well, hold on, Mike. I'm getting to my point. If you would stop ruining my point. And the in the pants. The little spandex pants that these girls wear and they're jumping. I'm telling you. Oh wait, you was comparing it to ping pong. If you want Brian to wear his little spandex pants when he plays ping pong, we could get that footage for you. But yes, that is the difference between women's volleyball and Brian. playing ping
Brian.
pong. That is his new villain music. I love that. I love what you're
I
doing
love
with,
it.
with that, Finch. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2WYinzers.com. Everyone knows this. Knows the saying what's going on, especially if you've been here a while, but definitely if you're new, go check it out. The2WYinzers.com. Check out that merch store. We got the Boom Derpy t-shirt.
Boom! And don't forget
Boom!
to smash that
Boom!
like button. Share with your friends. Tell everybody about the Yinzers. We need to see more people here, more people on the board like our great people we have today and every day. So boom! Smash like and hit share.
Boom! And don't forget, guys, do go check out the merchandise store. The shirt of the season is the Boom Derpy shirt. We just released it yesterday. Mike should have it up on the store.
It's
Do
up.
go get a Boom shirt here.
Just real
especially for
quick, I
Christmas
love
season.
when Feel the Steel types boom in the comments and
I do
throws
too.
that number 9 in there. That is just, that's so anti-Brian. It's evil.
Yes.
I love it.
I love it.
I do too. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some Baltimore number 2. We're going to do some Baltimore Ravens trivia. Of course, this is what we do. Whoever the Steelers are playing that week, this is who we do the trivia about, guys. Mike, Finch, put your thinking caps on, guys, on the board. Everybody at home, here goes the question of the day. Here we go. Which Raven holds the NFL record for the longest interception return in NFL history? Which Raven holds the NFL record for the longest interception return in NFL history? Guys, take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day right here on YouTube. All right, guys, everybody, question of the day is this. Which Raven holds the NFL record for longest interception return? The hint is this. It was a 107-yard return.
I can see the
All
play.
right.
I remember it. I just can't think of who it was.
All right, Mike, I'm going to start with you. Which Raven holds the NFL record for the longest interception return for 107 yards?
Ed Reed.
Ed Reed.
That
Is
was
this your
also
final
what I
answer?
was going to say, yeah.
All right, that's your final answer?
Yes, final answer.
All right, final answer for you as well, Finch?
Yeah, I'm not 100% confident in that, but that was definitely the first name that popped into my head. But I do remember the play. I just can't think of who it was, but I feel like Ed Reed might be the right answer. It's possible.
Roger said Ed Reed as well. So you're in good company, obviously. I do want to say that this player broke his own record, which was 106 yards by this play.
Right,
When
and he did it like the season before that, if I remember correctly.
It was
he had
real
2 big
close,
returns
yes.
in 2 seasons in a row, yeah.
This was 08, the year that the record was broken. He got the 107-yard interception return. 08, guys, everybody picked Ed Reed. Ron says, I don't know. The answer to this question, of course, guys, is
We are waiting.
it's like I'm just playing. Ed Reed, everybody. Ed Reed was the guy. 106
and
yards.
of dynamite.
And then he breaks his own record with an 107-yard interception return. This was back in 08. That team that the Steelers beat to go to the Super Bowl that year.
I hated Ed Reed so much, but god dang, was he great.
Oh, that whole everybody on that defense. The
they were so good in the 2000s.
Even
man.
Finch, go think back. Peter Boulware. Who's the little Italian? Saragusa. Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
Dwayne Starks.
Bart
McAllister. Bart Scott.
Dwayne McAllister.
Everybody on that
Nada.
defense. You hated.
Yeah,
You just hated those guys. You hated them.
They were so
good,
damn
man.
They were like a carbon copy of the Steelers.
But hey,
Yeah.
who won 2 Super Bowls when that team was around? And
Yeah.
that was us. We still managed to win a couple, so gotta give it to the Steelers.
And,
back
and
then
Ray
for
Lewis
playing.
still has nightmares of Alan Faneca and Dan Kreider.
But they
Yeah,
did
those guys
bookend
are
us. They did win in 2000 and they did win in
Yeah.
2012. We won 2 in the middle. So, again, great rival. These two teams, what they do for the AFC North is amazing. I think we could all agree on that. Mike, anything before we do start getting ready to wrap things up for this Tuesday installment of the Two Dumb Yinzers?
Oh man, I had something good on Twitter, then it just, refreshed away. So I can't remember what the hell
Mike's like,
I
I have a
was
really
going to
good
talk about.
idea, but let me jump in and
No, it
ruin
was no,
Ryan's
it was right
punchline on the
there. It was
volleyball.
literally on my screen, and then it poofed one away.
Ryan is making
Thank you, Ian.
an excellent point about the volleyball team and tight underpants and tight shorts, and
I
I'm
know,
gonna just
I know.
barge in and ruin that. But
I am too. I'm going to barge in on everything.
so you could barge in now and think of something. I don't care what you got. Just think of something. We need something from you.
Something. I'm pulling a derpy. Something.
All right.
I'm
Ron
gonna
says,
come.
Ron says, did Derpy pay John Madden royalties for using Boom since Madden coined that? No, he did not. John Madden is dead, and that's how I feel about it. If he wants to, if John Madden has a
wow.
problem, well, then listen. If John Madden has a problem, let him say something. That's how I feel about it. In another way to look at it, it's just the word boom. F him. All the way back to the night. Ever since the 1972 season, and he complained, it said that we only won the Immaculate Reception game because the referees were cold and they wanted to go home. So that's how I feel about Madden. Although I do love this football game. Finch, what about you, man? Anything before you ready to take off?
Yeah. Look forward to a video from me here tomorrow, Hump Day with Finch. It's something I've been trying to do. Still not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but tonight when I come home, I will sit down and make a video. So look for that tomorrow, everybody.
All right, I do have a couple things here real quick, guys. Of course, everybody knows about the that guy last week, the Italian guy or whatever he was that shot the CEO up in New York.
Luigi Mangione.
Luigi Mangione. Listen to this,
Great
guys.
name.
This New York City CEO, his employees pooped in his Lamborghini because he decided to cancel Christmas bonuses. They all pooped in his Lamborghini, and then they all quit at the exact same time. Can you imagine being a boss and everybody poops in your car, and then they all just quit? Merry Christmas to that guy.
That sounds like the plot to Christmas Vacation 2.
Right?
You're right. Did we see this play out without the pooping in the car? And finally, guys, the drones.
I respect it.
At first, they were from an Iranian mothership. Then they were aliens. And then they were scamming for dirty bombs. Guys, nobody still has an explanation. Does anybody find that weird that nobody of an authority figure could come out and give us some kind of idea of what's going on before we take off, guys? And any thought? Because this is overtaking social media. Anywhere I go on Twitter, anywhere I go on Facebook, it's all
drone
about
memes
these
everywhere.
These drones. Finch, what's going on? Give me your assessment. Mike, you give me yours. We'll see who's closest once we finally figure out what the hell's going on.
It's Bill Belichick, guys. That's all it is. It's right. Belichick. That's freaking Belichick. He's found a way. He's got the drones. He's spying on all the he's spying on college teams now.
But Finch, if you go, New Jersey had an ACC team, I might buy that.
That's true.
Mike, what about you?
I agree with Finch. I think I said this on Friday's show when I lost my mind. It's leftover from Spygate era. Now Belichick's scouting on the East Coast for the transfer portal. I'm looking for a Penn State's backup quarterback to somehow be teleported down to UNC. From one of these drones picking him up from Happy Valley and dropping him down there. Maybe
the drones are just scoping out hot young college chicks on the Jersey coast for him to bring to the school to maybe help out his football players a little bit. He's trying to search for some women to get these guys going. Maybe that's what it is. It always comes back to two things with Belichick, right? Spying and young girls.
Yeah.
And when you put the two together, you have a recipe for disaster. But I think that's what he's trying to do. Yeah, that's what I think.
That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm
going with. Also, Mark Malone says they're coming from Jet Stadium, and Ron says it's a diversion. So we're going to continue to keep our eye on this as well. I'm addicted to it. I got to be honest with you. How can you not be? Again, it's everywhere. Everywhere you look. If you go to Shorts, Reels, if you go to X, if you go to Facebook, it's everywhere. But guys, we are going to get ready to wrap things up for today. I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly, really do. We wouldn't do it without you. I do want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things super interesting here on the show, and everybody at home alike. Mike Derpy, I'm sorry, Finch. That's 2 days in a row I called you Derpy.
Wow.
I take it as a compliment.
Derpy on my mind.
Boom.
It is a compliment. Boom. Anything else, guys? Anything else before we do go for the day?
I got nothing. I'm ready for sleep. I am mentally exhausted. But yes, thank you all for coming here. I love reading the chat. You guys you help me power through my hour of sleep.
Finch, oh, there he is. He's got the button.
Boom.
He's got the boom button.
Boom.
There it is.
Boom.
Speak
Boom.
now, forever hold your peace, Finch. Is that it for you, sir?
Have a great week, everybody. Looking forward to the game.
Absolutely, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. First thing, do it all over again. Get ready for this Baltimore Raven game. We'll talk about that and much, much more tomorrow at our regular time. For Finch, for Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two dumb yinzers, everybody have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow.